One of the most important emotional needs of a human being is that of companionship or of friendship. A friend is a person with whom a person you share a strong bond with based on love. Two good friends can become pillars of support for each other, helping each other, sharing problems, and providing sympathy, understanding, and affection for one another. And they become assets and beneficial individuals in each other's lives. Without friends, a human being is destined to live a life of solitude. Emptiness begins to fill their hearts, and they find themselves alone in times of need and when they're in need of help. Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam Ali alayhi salam, has said, try to have as many true friends as possible, for they are the suppliers of joy and the shelters in misfortune. Islam is a collectivist religion. What does this mean? It means that it doesn't believe in the concept of isolating yourself and putting your own needs and desires ahead of what is best for those around you. In Islamic societies and Islamic culture, there exists a spiritual bond and a tie of mutual love and affection which unites all of these members, all of these Muslims in this society. And Islam itself as a religion has laid great emphasis on Islamic brotherhood, which is one of the most important factors of the establishment and maintenance of the establishment of a society. The spiritual infrastructure and the bond of faith plays a basic role in protecting and safeguarding the rights of an individual person and in taking care of the collective social interests of society. Imam Ali alayhi salam says, remain within your community and avoid separation from people. He says, beware of separating from people, for indeed the one who isolates himself from the people in society becomes a target for shaitan. So, yes, it's important that you take time to contemplate and you spend time alone to reflect, as we mentioned the other night, but don't isolate yourself from the community and from society as a whole. We're not like the followers of the Buddhist faith, for example, who sit and isolate and meditate for months at a time without spending time in their community or benefiting other people around them. Some people think when they think about friendship, they think that the true friend is the one who treats them nicely to their face and is happy when they see them. But if such a person is then tested, can we be certain that their loyalty will be proved? Again, Imam Ali alayhi salam says that there are two types of friends and there are two classes of friends in which you can have. You have a friend of confidence and you have a friend of grimace. The friend of confidence represents the hand, the wing, the family and the wealth. Regarding your relationship with this friend of confidence, you should offer your wealth and your services to them. You should act sincerely towards that type of person. You should antagonize whoever antagonizes them. You should conceal all of their secrets and their flaws, and you should publicize the nice things about them. Amir al-Mu'mineen continues on and he said, these friends of confidence are as rare as red sulfur. Red sulfur, of course, one of the most rare elements which a person can find. Then he goes on to talk about friends of grimace. He says, these are people from whom you can gain pleasure, therefore you should not prevent them from gaining pleasure through you as well. But he says, do not expect anything more from them than pleasure. As long as they show you good humor and nice words to your face, then you must also show them the same. Now, if we talk about friendship, who is better to explain the reality of what friendships are like than Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam? The Imam says, friendship is nothing, friendship is nil, unless its limits are kept. The person who does not keep those limits cannot be regarded as your friend. What are these limits? The Imam says the first limit is that the inner self and his appearance as well should both be identical. He shouldn't hold something bad in his heart, but say something positive with his mouth. The second limit is that the friend should regard your goodness as his goodness, and your evil as his evil as well. The third limit of friendship is that a position or fortunes should not change the relationship that you have with these people. Say, for example, you get a new job and you gain a lot of money. Your friendship should not change as a result of these circumstances and these external influences. The fourth limit that Imam Sadiq says is that the friend should not deprive his friend of anything which he is capable of doing. For example, if the friend asks for a favor and you are able to do it, you should never hold back from doing that favor. And lastly, the fifth limit, which is the most important, is that the friend should never leave his friend alone when he is in a time of calamity or when he is in a time of trouble and need. However, it is wise to choose moderation when you have friends. You shouldn't go to the extreme with them. If you show them excessive love and you show excessive confidence around them, it strays into the verge of something unacceptable, because that friend might turn into an enemy one day. And the secrets which you then gave to him may be used against you. Amir al-Mu'mineen said that when you cherish someone, you should cherish him moderately, for he may become your enemy one day. And if you hate someone, then you should hate him moderately, because he might become your friend one day. If we go back to the words of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam again, he said, the secrets which you show before your friends, the secrets which you say to your friends, should only be through those which your enemies cannot harm you with. For a friend might turn into an enemy. Of course, it's natural for us to tell secrets to our friends in the hope that they will keep them. However, these secrets should not be of such high importance that if they were spread to your enemy, for example, they would be able to use this to harm you or to work against you. Now, an important thing for the young people to listen to as well here is, who should you be friends with? Especially living in a country where the majority of people are not Muslims. It's important for everyone to choose friends that are characterized by two things: good mannerisms and good behavior. Friends need to be characterized by faith, by their religiosity, by their uprightness, their standing in the community, and their manners, their akhlaq. Friends who don't have these possessions are insignificant, and you should put them aside, because when there's a lack of these qualities and traits in a person, then you can anticipate that they will lead you somewhere which is not good. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, it will be a difficult and hard day for the unbelievers. It will be a day where the unjust people will bite their fingers regretfully, saying, would that we had followed the path of the messengers. Woe to us, would that we had not been friends with so and so. They led me away from the true guidance after it had come to us. Shaitan is a traitor to the people. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has said that man imitates his friends. Therefore, you should consider someone a friend only if you see something in them which you want to become. This means that even though there might be a person who provides you with a laugh here and there, they might joke around with you and you might get a feeling of good times when you're with them, this doesn't necessarily mean that they're a good person who you should be hanging about with. Don't form a friendship with such a person like that. As Imam Ali said, don't form a friendship with a person of grimace. If that person is known, for example, to commit haram acts, or he holds malicious thoughts and tendencies in his heart, if you form a friendship with a person of this status, then you will slowly become like that person. Imam Ali alayhi salam says that to sit with the evil people causes mistrust in the good people. To sit with the good people attaches the evils to good people. The sinful ones sitting with the good ones attaches the sinful ones to the good ones. If you can't decide between the belief of somebody, then you should investigate who he is friends with. If he is following the right creed, then you will see that he is sitting with the right people. And if he is sitting with the wrongful people, then you'll see that he has no share in the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's who to be friends with. Who do you avoid being friends with? The Prophet used to say that the person who believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the person who believes in the Day of Judgment should not associate with any disbeliever or associate with any sinful person. The person who mixes and associates with a disbeliever or associates with a sinful person is regarded as one of the disbelievers and as one of the sinful people. This is the words of the Holy Prophet. And this is the baseline of our beliefs when it comes to friendship. The one filled with sin will fill you with sin, and the one who is filled with goodness begins to fill you with goodness. Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam has said that the following narration. He said, my father, Ali ibn Hussein, once advised me, O son, do not associate, talk, or accompany 5 types of people. Who are these 5 people? He asked. The Imam says, beware of associating with the sinful people, because he will disappoint you for a single bite of food, or for something even less valuable than this. Secondly, beware of associating with the stingy people, for they will let you down when you are in urgent need of his property. Thirdly, beware of associating with the foolish people, because he will harm you when he intends to do you a favour. Fourthly, beware of associating with the liar, because he is the same as a mirage. He shows you something so close, when in reality it's so far away from you. And lastly, beware of associating with the person who disregards the importance of spending time with his family, for I found that person to be cursed in the book of Allah. Lastly, on the topic of who we should not be friends with, people come all the time to scholars online and they say, is it permissible for a man to be friends with a woman? No, the answer is no, full stop. The answer is no. What are the rights of friends? Because you know it's possible to have friends, you know it's possible to associate with good ones. What are their rights? What do you owe towards them? Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said that a friend occupies a great position to the degree that even the inhabitants of the fire of hell will seek his help before relatives. In this regard, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, conveying the words of the people who are in hell, says, we have no intercessors and no true friends. There's a famous quote which says that the true friends are the most favourable thing to have in this world. They are the adornment of luxury, they are the support in misfortune, and they are the aid for acquiring good deeds. Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam again says that while he was on his deathbed, Amir al-Mu'mineen gathered al-Hassan, gathered al-Hussein, gathered Muhammad ibn Hanafiyyah, and his other sons, and he commanded them the following thing. He said, sons, you should associate with people in such a way that they will long and crave for you when you are away from them, and they will cry for you when you depart this world. The Imam on his deathbed says, sons, hearts are well mobilized troops. They recognize another good heart, and they recognize when there is hatred in someone as well. Hence, when you should expect good from someone who you love, you should expect this without even seeing good from them. Likewise, you should be aware of the one whom you dislike, even though you have not seen any ill behavior from them. Now, what do you do if your friends make mistakes? Sheikh al-Bahrani, one of the famous scholars, got asked a question from a young teenager. The teenager came to him and he said, I'm a young guy, I'm from a religious family, but I've got a friend and he's corrupt. He does some bad things, but he's my close friend. I feel fond of him. I feel as though I have a duty towards him, but I don't know what to do. How can I help him? How can I get him back onto the right path? The Sheikh gave him some advice. So if you have yourself friends who you see good in, you know they have good hearts, but they're doing a lot of haram stuff, they're doing a lot of sins, how do you approach it? The Shaykh says, use your love towards him as a means of advising him and saving him by taking him towards guidance. It has been narrated in a hadith from the Holy Prophet that guiding one person is better than everything in this worldly life and everything which it contains. Don't forget that love is good when it reaps goodness, and it is a means of deviation when it transfers bad morals. A rational person is one who thinks about the outcome of matters and the outcome of things, and then considers the situation. The Sheikh says, try and be more reasonable rather than sentimental, because if your emotion overpowers you in the most important situations, then it will destroy you and ultimately lead you to hell. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, my most beloved brother is the one who makes me aware of my faults, the one who advises me when I do something which is not correct. Always advise your friends in the right way, of course, if they make a mistake or if they commit a sin. When you do this, you're looking out for them, you are caring for them, you are shielding them and potentially protecting their future, potentially stopping them from committing this sin again. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you greatly for doing something like this. Again, what if you have a friend who has problems in his life? he's facing mental difficulties, for example, he's depressed, he has mental health issues. Again, Sheikh al-Bahrani was asked by someone about a friend who had depression and what he could do from an Islamic perspective to help him. The Sheikh said, I suggest that in order to save your friend, after relying on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His assistance, you should do the following couple of things. Firstly, be gentle to him and be kind to him so that he begins to trust you more. Secondly, go and ask his family members to discover if there's any problems you're not aware about. Thirdly, to make him trust you, tell him about similar conditions that you have faced in the past and how you overcame these. Fourth, explain to him the harms of disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the merits of obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Perhaps he is confused, or perhaps he is in a state of remorse because he has committed a sin, but he doesn't know how to overcome this. The fifth piece of advice, inspire him by giving him hope, giving him aim and a purpose. Take him out, go and tell him, let's go and have fun today, we'll take your mind off things. And lastly, arrange with your friends a trip so that everyone around him can gather and ask him if they can help. And when he realizes he has these friends around him giving him support, he will feel more at ease. Mental crisis, mental health issues, especially today, can happen to a lot of different people. And in these times, they look to their friends to provide them with support, to provide them with help. Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salam actually gives mental health advice for people. He says that you should inform your brothers whenever life gets really hard for you. You shouldn't just rely on yourself because you may become overpowered by these emotions. The Imam says if you feel depressed, if you feel upset, if something happens in everyday life and it's affecting you, go and tell one of your brothers because perhaps he can help you with doing so. The loyal friends are the ones who hurry towards you before you even ask them for help. This is in fact the true standard of love and of brotherhood between friends. Amir al-Mu'mineen has said that the true friend is the one who regards his friend in three situations: when he's going through an ordeal, when he is absent, and when he is dead. What about when it comes to economic issues? Say for example you or your friend is struggling with money. They are running low on cash and they can't do any of the day-to-day things which they need to do. There is a duty upon you as a Muslim of material care when it comes to helping out a friend who is in an economic crisis. This is in fact one of the wajib acts which Allah in the Holy Quran praises people for. In the Holy Quran it says that those people gave preference to others over themselves, even concerning the things which they themselves needed. Even if you are not a rich person, if you have a brother who is in need of economic care, of need of a little bit of money, if you give him that money, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praises you for this. To conclude, Islam is a complete code of life. It is not just a religion where you carry out rituals. It determines every single action and every single day. It is a complete code, and it recognizes that believers and Muslims need friends, and it encourages adherents of Islam and followers of Islam to not only have cordial and friendly relations with all people, but to seek deep and constructive friendships with those who are with us on an emotional level. And it is best, of course, to have friends who think like you and who possess good qualities so that they can influence you and you can adopt these traits from them. If you choose a pious, well-mannered, religious friend, you will see that your life begins to become easier and more peaceful for you as a whole. And so inshallah this serves as a reminder that the people that you should be friends with are the ones who not only care about their faith, but who look out for you and who come to you in the first instance before you feel the need to approach them. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Wow.